Hi, this is Laptop Radio. Today's topic is Tax Mofo. We have Patrick Larsen, co-founder of ZenLedger.io here.
Hi,
Hello, Patrick.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So, Patrick, let's just dive in. What is your story?
Yeah, I grew up in Los Angeles. Went to the Air Force Academy for undergrad, and was a helicopter pilot in the U.S. Navy. And then got out and got my MBA at U Chicago. And then I worked in investment banking, and worked at Amazon, ran a retail business, and then a couple startups, and then founded Zen Ledger about 2 years ago now.
When did you first learn about blockchain and cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I've been looking at it for quite some time, probably the last 5 years. And then about 2 years ago, I kind of decided I wanted to be a VC-backed CEO, and I felt I knew enough about finance and tech to come up with an idea and build a team and get it funded. And so that's kind of, as I looked around at ideas, cryptocurrency was obviously really ripping and roaring in the summer of 2017.
Tell us a little about ZenLedger.io.
Yeah, so we're a Seattle-based startup. We've been through a couple rounds of funding and are VC-backed. We have 15 people in a couple different locations. We help cryptocurrency investors and accountants with tax filings and financial analysis of your trades and transactions. We work with several hundred CPAs and several thousand individual investors at this point.
So taxes are usually kind of boring, but there is a big need in the space, right? Because we really don't know how to account for the cryptocurrency that we purchase. And in the US, I think the IRS is starting to assess whether we own cryptocurrency. I thought the idea is really awesome. When did you first come up with the idea, and what was your aha moment?
Yeah, sure. I'd say, the IRS had a lot to do with the aha moment. So in the summer of 2017, I was kind of looking at fintech ideas. And as I looked at crypto, I kind of asked a bunch of, I just went around and asked all the smartest people I could find in crypto about ideas and, infrastructure ideas specifically. I didn't want to, do an ICO or launch a token. And one of the ideas that really appealed to me was helping with taxes, because it was a very discrete business idea. It was something that was obviously needed. People would pay a premium for. Exchanges had integrations and APIs or CSV outputs. Same with wallets. And there were just a lot of people coming into the space and making investments, and they weren't worried about accounting or finance at all. They were just worried about speculating in the asset. But the IRS was suing Coinbase at the time and subsequently won that lawsuit. And so now US-based exchanges are providing transaction information to the IRS, and the IRS is sending out warning letters to people when they think that there's an unpaid tax liability.
And it's also very complicated, right? Because in the old days, I don't know about now, like when we buy cryptocurrency, we will buy Bitcoin or ETH, and then we convert that to buy the altcoin, and which adds to a little layer of tax reporting because you have to report that layer as well.
Yeah, there are many things that make it complex. One is that people are trading 24 hours a day all around the world. So, you have transaction fees, you have different time zones, different prices for the same assets in different markets. You have different holding periods. So you have different, profit or loss as you go. And then, some people have lost coins, or an exchange went defunct and you lost access to your coins. So you have, some tax losses to claim there. So just keeping all that coherent when you have these non-taxable self-transfers moving around between exchanges and wallets, and then in and out of privacy coins and all those types of things. There's actually a good amount of technical challenges that need to be solved if you want to get your taxes and accounting dialed in.
How about like cost basis? Like when you have an airdrop, do you have to report that? Should you care? So is Zen Ledger kind of like a TurboTax for crypto?
Yeah, you could very much think of it as a TurboTax for crypto, in that we are doing individual capital gains taxes for you. We're not doing corporate stuff like a QuickBooks would. So you can think of it as TurboTax, where it's just a very easy UI and workflow, and you get your you put your tax information in the software, and we'll produce tax forms and tax analysis for you. So with airdrops and tax cost basis, what's tricky there is that the IRS is a little unclear here as well. They're starting to put out more and more guidance, and I think the IRS is starting to consider some things. But also the problem is that Congress needs to pass laws that define crypto regulation and taxation, and we haven't gotten there yet. So that's why this is complex. You can take a pretty aggressive or a pretty conservative approach in claiming your taxes in crypto, and then you're going to have to probably wait a couple years to figure out what IRS policy becomes. But with regard specifically to airdrops, most airdrops are worthless, and so you don't even need to bother. So that's number one thing, right? Like, you don't have to claim things where you didn't take possession of the asset, it was worthless, you never transacted in it, it's just like popped into your Binance account or your MyEther wallet, and you never did anything with it, and it's valueless. Like, don't worry about that. Just keep moving on. Where it gets interesting is something like Bcash, where when Bcash was issued to you, it was worth like $3,000, and you could have liquidated it immediately at that price, and it was in your possession in Coinbase or something. Then what the IRS does is it treats it as $3,000 of income right then for one Bitcoin Cash. If you subsequently held it for like a year and then sold it for whatever $300, then you have a $2,700 loss because it went from 3,000 to 300. But you also had $3,000 of income when you received it. So that's obviously like a non-optimal outcome, and people really don't like it on an individual level. But we're gifted free money that you could have sold immediately, and if it had gone up from 3,000 to 10,000, you'd feel differently about it. It's the fact that it went from 3,000 to 300 that's really causing the problem.
And what is your vision for Zen Ledger?
Yeah, I think what the reason we built the company is that we saw there was a real unmet need in great customer experience, customer service, UI, UX, automation, and that we had a thesis that there would just be hundreds of thousands and millions of Americans transacting in crypto, in e-commerce, in investment, maybe in day-to-day transactions. So we just want to continue to build there so that we can help the next level of cryptocurrency. So, Bitcoin, Ethereum, but also non-fungible tokens or securitized tokens, things like that. We just want to continue to make it easy for people to know what they hold, know what their profit and loss was, and kind of optimize their cash flow so they can invest better.
That sounds really awesome. I actually can't wait to use Zen Ledger. How's your team like?
Yeah, so our CTO, Brian Starbuck, is in Seattle as well. He was comp sci degree from UCSD, and then 10 years at Microsoft, and then 15 years in his own startups with a couple exits as a CEO, CTO. So he's been a multiple time founder and is a really good architect and manager of dev teams.
I mean, we speak a little bit about the problem with taxes and reporting taxes and the uncertainty, even with the regulation, your possible solution. How does your ecosystem work? I mean, specifically, how does your app work?
Yeah, so you would just log in and create your account and then start connecting accounts. So we have like a one-click integration with Coinbase. It's a very secure read-only API. We'll just take in all your transactions from there. Same thing with a wallet. We would just take a receiving address from you. We never ask for your keys. We never really ask for any personally identifiable information. So you could create an account with like a Proton Mail address or any random string of characters and digits and like delete your whole account when you're done. We just believe that our customers are all, like white hat people, right? They're raising their hand. They're saying, I want to pay taxes on this. I'm used to paying taxes on this and my 401k and my stocks and my real estate and my LLC. Like it's not so much the crypto anarchist libertarian crowd that's our customer. And that's fine. Like I think the ecosystem needs all of it, but the basic experience is you just log in, start connecting your transactions. You can invite your CPA in if you need to, and then once all your transactions are in there, we'll produce your tax reports for you. Toward the end of the year here, we'll report a tax loss harvesting tool, so you can see, if you own 10 Ethereum, perhaps the first 3 you could sell at a loss right now, and then the next 3 you'd sell at a profit. So you just want to sell the first 3 and take that cash and buy Ethereum back January 1st, and you have tax loss asset. Or you can put that cash towards something else, or you can look at what you've been holding for more than a year and sell those to free up cash so that you have a long-term capital gain instead of a short-term capital gain. So you have lower taxes if you've been holding for longer. So we can tell you which coins you've been holding for longer, and you can decide to sell those instead.
How many wallets are you connected to? I'm just curious. I was just wondering if you guys are connected to Stellar. If not, can people enter the information manually?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're very flexible in that way. So we do import Stellar straight from the blockchain, XLM, and then we work with Ledger, Trezor, a bunch of different wallets, and we've integrated a lot of coins that have their own unique wallets, like EOS or something, or Ethereum, MyEther wallet, and all the ERC20 tokens underneath it, and all the colored BTC and XPub. So we've done a lot of development there. But if for some reason you have an altcoin that we don't transact in, we can always just help you create a really simple spreadsheet to upload, or you can make manual transactions where you just enter in one transaction at a time. There's just a lot of different ways, but we can always get the transaction information into the system.
Awesome. That is a need. And do you have any competitors today?
Yeah, I'd say that there have been a couple softwares around for a while, like Bitcoin.tax and CoinTracking.info, and then there's a couple more recent entrants like us, like CoinTracker and TokenDAX. Yeah.
Okay. What are some of the features you're thinking about having that would make the app even more awesomer that you can share and that is not confidential?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we'll obviously continue to add more exchanges. We quickly added, Binance USA and
Awesome.
OB USA because we're constantly trying to think ahead at what the customer will need this year, next year, and just go ahead and take care of those things. As NFTs come up, we'll just continue to add support for NFTs and STOs. We may be offering more of an enterprise solution or a blockchain analysis solution as well that would be more in line for what exchanges would need in a KYC AML type application. We're working on stuff like that too.
Okay, that sounds really awesome. Yeah, I mean, I used to transfer stuff to Binance and then transfer again for altcoin. So that would be awesome. I think a lot of choices are good, especially when there's just so many companies in the ecosystem today.
I totally agree. It's really uncertain what's going to happen and how much you see that the power of U.S. regulation that Huobi and Binance decided to move onshore to the United States,
Yep.
then also cut down on a lot of the offerings that Americans could purchase, right? So Americans will obviously find a different way to purchase the highly speculative assets overseas if they want to. It's capital moves freely around the world, and some geofencing or IP address targeting doesn't get in the way of that in the slightest, and we all know that.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if U.S. regulation kind of catches up, or if whatever a Japan, a Singapore, Switzerland, or some other country kind of figures out a better model before the EU or the United States does.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And do you have any other areas of your project that you would like to discuss that I have not asked?
No, I think in general it's pretty simple. Like if you have done some cryptocurrency trading and you want help analyzing your tax liability and creating your tax forms and working with a CPA, look us up at zenledger.io. And we'll always be happy to get in touch with you very quickly by chat, email, or phone.
Awesome. And then what is that one advice that you would like to provide to the larger community?
Yeah, I would say just continue to do your own diligence. There are a lot of people still promising a lot of things in crypto, and we're just so early on that the basic infrastructure still needs to be built. Really, the ICO craze only happened 2 years ago, and it takes quite a long time to build things. But when you look at Fortune 50 companies, they seem to all be building stuff in blockchain and crypto. So I would say, just verify when certain people are making promises, because you don't want to get stuck holding a bag of coins. We've all been through that, but there's new people coming into the ecosystem each time, and we all kind of should take it upon ourselves to keep things as above board as possible.
No, I agree with you. I think just working with a lot of blockchain startups and the ecosystem as a whole, I encounter so many people whose promises and say things that are not true later. And sometimes it takes time. It's a little bit frustrating. However, I think verification is very important. There is really no need to fear though, because I think it turns people off because of the fraud. But at the same time, there's also really good people with good intent, and they just really want to see the change, a change that is different from the results from the previous internet generation. So I'm really, really hoping that with blockchain technology, we can change society in a better way, and yet still have that hope and be open to meeting good people who are sincere, who will report their taxes with good intent, right? Because without clear regulations, I think it's really difficult for people to follow. Because even a lot of the accountants don't even know what to do, right?
Not at
And
all. Yeah, it's a big problem. Yeah, and securities lawyers don't either. So that's a problem. But I totally agree. And what I've really enjoyed about being in crypto and blockchain the last 2 years is the really interesting people you meet. Like very artistic, very creative, very hardworking, adventurous people that are trying to build, the next layers of software, and having it touch the real world is really fun and interesting.
yeah, I agree with you. Just like lawyers, there's a lot of lawyers who don't know cryptocurrency because it just requires a lot of discipline. There are also really good tax people and there are not good tax people. And I think, like Patrick says, that we just need to verify. And I just wanted to note that we are not providing tax advice. And for your specific situation, it's better for you to speak with your accountant. Patrick, thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. It was really fun chatting with you.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye bye.
Bye.